Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk a bit about the UseEffect React hook, and it's also available in React Native. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a button that's going to have the count, and I'm going to show you that you can trigger a function to be called when your state variables update, and also you can trigger just a function to be called the first time your component mounts. So kind of like the old componentDidMount class component lifecycle method. So yeah, I'll be showing you a bit about that today. First off, I'm just creating my button that's going to go increment my count. I'm going to need to import state so that I can update that count and have UseEffect depend on that count state variable. So I'm going to create my state variable here. So I've got my state variable of count, and I've got a function that will set that called setCount, and I'm going to provide a default value which is going to be 0. On press of that button, I'm just going to go and increase that count by 1. Then I'm going to go ahead and add that a text component just to display that count so you can see that's actually updating. So you can see if I click that button, it updates the count. So now I want to show you the UseEffect side of things. So basically, I'm going to be able to call a function when count changes or when the component first mounts. So first off, I'm just going to pass in a function to my UseEffect function, and that's basically going to be what will be called. If I wanted to have any unsubscribe events happen, like when the component unmounted, then I would return that from the UseEffect function. But all I'm going to do is console log so that you can sort of see when these different functions would be called by UseEffect with different in different scenarios. The second parameter passed to UseEffect is what it is dependent on. And you can see that when the component mounts for the first time, when you're not dependent on anything, it will run that UseEffect function, the function you pass the UseEffect. So now I'm going to want to make one dependent on count, and that's just going to be useful if you want to do something one-off when a value changes, or maybe something should trigger some sort of update, and so when the value changes you want to run a function, that's when you'd use this. So I'm just going to do another console log, and I'm going to say triggered by count updating, and then in my dependent values, I'm going to pass in count. So you can sort of see that I've got this dependency list as the second parameter of UseEffect. So if I go ahead and save that, you can see it runs the on component mounting and triggered by component updating. And every time I click increment count, it triggers that, it runs that triggered by count updating, but it didn't rerun that on component mounting because that one was not dependent on the count state variable. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. If you have, please like and subscribe for more content.